Hello, hello. Tanner Foust here. Um, so this is the second live uh, broadcast I've done. I see there's a couple people online already. Thank you guys very much for coming. I am Sans Victoria. Absolutely solo right now. So apologize in advance for any um, technical difficulties that I am unable to overcome. But anyway, a lot kind of in limbo right now with various things that went on this year and things going into next year. So hopefully I can answer questions, but it's just been a little while, and there's hopefully a lot of answers coming soon. So it'll be good to do another one of these soon. This one's only half an hour though, because I need to get packed and get out of town here real quick. But let me just dive right in. Rub a dub dub. Can I feel? Can I feel the? Yeah, of course I can feel the effects of the crisis. I think everybody can feel the effects of the economic crisis in racing. It's been lucky in rallycross and in action sports stuff that the it's kind of like real estate, where when the prices are down, it's an opportunity for people to get in there and spend money. Action sports and young demographics, something that a lot of people want, so it's a good opportunity right now with the economy going down for some companies to come in there and get a bunch of market share. So we have been affected less than most, but that could eventually affect my ability to go to Europe. Yeah. Robin Bergman. My favorite thing about the Olsberg's Fiesta is just the outright acceleration, like the second gear probably. I'd say second gear is my favorite thing. First gear is just wheel spin. Second gear is just raw power. It's awesome. Casey, Casey 1. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The private life or work life? Well, it's kind of one of those things where you have to strike when the iron's hot. So um, I definitely work pretty hard, and I travel quite a lot, and it doesn't lend to having much of a private life very often. But all you have is your family and private life at the end of the day. So that's obviously very important. But when things are hot professionally, you have to, I think, kind of go for it. So I'm going for it whenever possible. Thank you for the question, though. Joy, I've beat Adam and Rutledge every time. I don't remember ever losing to those guys. No, that's not true. Uh, I don't know. It gets mixed up quite a bit. For some, in the upcoming shows, which should start coming out here, I think towards the end of January. Little secret, we drive semi-trucks in one of them, and it turns out that Rutledge is like a professional semi-truck driver, and it's way harder than it looks. Those ice road truckers, it's actually a little harder than it looks. So he deserves some of those wins, but most of them he just talks his way out of. Roy, I don't know if I raced really bad in the Netherlands. It was muddy. It took a long time to get the car set up right. I definitely made some mistakes. But once the car got set up, it was actually pretty quick. I think we had second or third quickest time, and still in a wet track, which is good for us. In a short wheelbase car, and the wet's not so good in that series. And then the FIA is determining whether I did anything wrong or not. We should hear about that actually tomorrow morning. Is the time when we'll hear about that. So maybe that answers some questions in advance. Karen, yeah, ERC weekend is the same as X Games. I don't know if that's going to stay that way, or which one we'll do. But X Games is probably one of the bigger things in my calendar. It's too bad because the Swedish round is so awesome. The fans up there are so cool. Olympus Rally or Oregon Trail? The Olympus Rally's moved around quite a bit. I like the roads in Oregon through the forest when because they're kind of crowned roads. And these are rallies up in the northwest, and it's the Oregon Trail Rally through the forest is awesome because on the crowned road, obviously the inside of that turn is banked, and so you just pitch it into these corners so hard. I've got great memories of those rallies. Thanks, Timothy, for that question. Let's see. Rodimus Tatis. Don't know if that's your real name, but it's pretty awesome. Tanner, I'm an autocrosser. Have you done any autocrossing in your racing career? Yes. Never as a racing autocrosser, but I've definitely driven my share of cones, and mostly for marketing events, but we'd always have a clock. I don't know. I've been to a couple actually organized autocross events, but never entered as a participant. So yes and no. But it is fun. The thing I like about autocross is that it's hard to learn the track fast. So the guys that can visualize and the girls that can visualize the track the quickest, um, really seem to have the advantage. You don't get much seat time in those things. Let's see, Liza Smith or Lisa. It's got to be Lisa, right? Um, yeah, if I'd gone into the medical field, I don't know what I would have been. I come from a long line of obstetrics, baby doctors, so uh, I don't know if I would have gone that route. I was kind of always a little bit into surgery, so I probably would have tried to have been a surgeon of some sort, but it was kind of the same time commitment doing that as it was being a fighter pilot in the armed services. So that was like a 9-year commitment for either one. So it was kind of up in the air, and then got derailed once I got into racing a little bit. Sorry if I'm coughing occasionally. I have like a small cough. Do you ever think about doing any local rallies? There's a great series in California for rally racing that my old co-driver Chrissy Beavis does, and it's the California Regional Rally. I forget the name of it exactly. Sorry, but it's very cool. I've done some events where they were combined, and the way that they did scrutineering is everybody pulled their cars up and popped the hoods and drank beers and checked out each other's cars, and thumbs up or you need to change that for the next round. It was really low key, really fun, and it was just for the love of driving. Really loved it. Alexandra, my Octane Academy starts I think in February. Deegan's starts now in November, and then mine will be after JR and Ken. So I'm the last one. But all the videos that you put in Octane Academy now stick around until mine, unless you get plucked out of the mix by Deegan, Brian, or Deegan, Ken, or JR. Michelle, very nice of you. Thank you. Do I get nervous about speaking events or races? I don't know if I get nervous before races. I get excited. Because it's fun. It's like, holy cow, they closed the road for you, or they made this track for you, and somebody built this car for you, and somebody's gonna pay for you to come out there and do it. It's amazing how all those things kind of come together. So it's kind of like probably a kid that knows the next afternoon he gets to go to Disneyland kind of a thing. So I get excited about it, not necessarily nervous. Some moments I get nervous in the car before doing a run or whatever, especially with drifting. But over a little bit of time, I've learned to kind of turn that nervousness into kind of positive energy and excitement for my job, and that keeps it interesting. Public speaking, yeah, I get nervous. Public speaking used to be the biggest fear I had. But again, turning that kind of nervousness into maybe some energy. I mean, people maybe think you're doped up on coffee all the time, when you're nervous talking. But it still makes it interesting, and it's different between talking in front of people and talking in front of the camera. So there's a little bit of a difference there. Okay, I'm 8 minutes behind. I'm sorry. I'm gonna jump a couple questions. Sorry in advance. Excuse me. Kelly, how often have you had where's the clutch moment when switching manual automatic? Doesn't happen too often, but usually I left foot brake in a race car. So my left foot is hovering over the brake. Basically, that's all that means. In the Rallycross car, you don't use the clutch for shifting, just to get away from a standing start. And then everything is with the left foot. In the last 5 years of rally racing, it's been the same way. Drifting, use the clutch quite a bit. But I try to train myself on the street, even when I'm driving my truck or car or whatever, to keep my foot for the braking and keep that sensitivity in the left foot. Because if you've never used your left foot for braking and you try it, usually your passenger will bounce their head off the dashboard the first couple times. Let's see, Ashley, what's one thing you miss doing since you're becoming so busy? Just a brutal question, Ashley. Well, I miss mountain biking so much. I miss rock climbing, snow skiing, 70 to 100 days a year, like I used to, year in and year out. Mostly those kinds of things that you would consider a hobby that were for fun to keep you kind of active, those have gone to the back seat a little bit as working and maintaining family and friendship become kind of your main priorities. Yeah, kind of those things. You get spread thin sometimes, and you fail at everything. So it's you have to let some things go in order to be successful at stuff. I think when it gets busy, but it all can go away the very next day. Knock on wood. So I still got that mountain bike hanging in the garage just in case. Would I vote for Caswell? Seriously, if he ran for president? Autobahn dismantling. Bill Caswell. He talks too much to be president. Maybe he's like me. He babbles. And is he smart enough to be president? I think so, probably. I think he is. He is a visionary. Good to see you too again. KC1, again, let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Catherine, I'd love to teach you how to drift. Don't know how that works out, but I'd let you. Everybody should learn how to drift at some point. The snow is the best way, but Megan, wanting to ask something different. What is my cologne? Really? I need to go look. I'll be right back. Okay, Boss Orange. That's what's in there. There's a couple, 3 or 4, but I know the Boss Orange has been in the bag lately. Moving to Colorado. Any winter tips from the girl from the Midwest? Yeah, just look at the ground. Like, sometimes you just have to recognize what you're driving on. People don't. Sometimes you see accidents in Colorado and there's an out-of-state license plate on there, and it's just usually from just not paying attention to like what the surface is. Also, there's a winter driving school in Steamboat that'd be a good thing to do. You just go there and I think it's winterdrive.com, but used to work there. Good guys, great program, good school. You learn a lot, and I think it'd be really beneficial. Brooke, hi. Thanks for taking the time. Thank you. Pre-race rituals. It'd be hard for me to know that, I think, because if I'm doing them, it's probably more subconscious. I think I almost always watch YouTube videos of the track, whether it's somebody else driving, a different class or whatever, just to try to get my head around whatever track that is, even if it's, whether it's drifting or rally or rallycross or road racing. The whole process of going to a race is really a ritual if you think about it. The getting back here, the packing, the passport, the going through the checklist, writing the list of things that you need. And usually there's about 3 cities or 4 cities that are on a trip. So it's packing for this little pack of, this Top Gear thing, what solid t-shirt to wear for that. And then packing for, a race, and then maybe a media thing, and then trying to figure if I can get all that in carry-on, because that's the ultimate goal. So there's this whole ritual. Should really just light candles, put on soft jazz during packing, and make it more of a ritual. You're right. But that's pretty much it. We give my little brother a shout. He's a huge fan. His name is Bryce. Yes, of course, Megan. Hi, Bryce. How you doing? And where are we on time? We're good. Let me go back to some of the ones that I skipped. It's hard to see how many people are here. one of the things that is happening right now is this whole FIA thing. And if you don't know about that, it's not a super big deal, but Rallycross is kind of one of these. Um, it's kind of one of these things where it's a little bit judged almost because there's so much contact. People have to decide what the black flags, what things warrant a black flag and what things don't. And it's a great sport, but it's one that a lot of manufacturers and a lot of people want to get into, and some of them are kind of nervous about maybe the consistency in the rules. And so I think it's really moving in the right direction. And regardless of what happens with that FIA thing, I'm really happy with kind of how things are going in Rallycross. I think it's going to be cool in the future here. Bill Caswell writing in. Hi, how you doing? Nice president question that you had somebody ask there. What was my defining moment, Bill? Really? The thing that changed everything. Worked your tails off rallying, Pikes Peak drifting, etc. What changed it for you? Bill, what changed it for me? I don't know. It's going to change again. It's in the process of constantly changing, right? So, I think there was a moment there when I was kind of tripping towards the idea of racing cars for a living, and I got a job at a racetrack at Pikes Peak International Raceway, and and then I looked kind of under the skirt of racing there, so to speak. No offense there, but it's like I saw behind the scenes. I saw what it took to make sponsorship happen. I saw, as somebody who was selling sponsorship for a racetrack, and the sponsors were already kind of flowing in, I saw the details of the business, and it was like, oh, there's no mysterious thing happening here. It was like a just some regular deals that were not that hard to put together. And that was the defining moment when I saw how, the baby steps, to quote Bill Murray, in getting to the end goal. Was that too deep, Bill? That might have been too deep. We have our discussions sometimes go a little long because, like I said, you're talkative, and so am I. Annalyn, you're from Texas. Wow, you're from way down there, 300 miles south of San Antonio. That's incredible. You want to go to Pikes Peak International Raceway for first ever road trip to see for the GRC. I don't mind. I don't know when it is. I'm glad you got into Rallycross. I'm glad you like Fiestas. But I don't know when GRC. I have a feeling most of the GRC season is going to be before X Games, which is usually like the end of July. I think it's a little bit earlier this year, so it's probably going to be in the spring or early summer in Colorado. Lori Roberts, no problem. Love to do the live chat. Bands or music. It's hard to say because I'm not really good at remembering. I love music. But I don't go to too many live shows, and so I pretty much go between, like if I'm driving myself on satellite radio, for example, then I've got Chill or The Joint on, which is like reggae, sometimes even 80s or 90s, Guilty as Charged, but and then sometimes like Cowboy Junkies from Hell. I don't mind some old metal. I will admit that, but I'm not so good at spitting out band names. Let's see. Will GRC be returning to Fontana in 2012? It was in 2011. It was in Irwindale, maybe Fontana. I was just there yesterday, actually, doing a go-kart training for a race I'm doing at PRI. My teammate is Townsend Bell, who's a guy that I've done some TV shows with. He's an awesome Indy racer, awesome guy. And there's a go-kart track out there that a friend of mine actually started, 8 years ago. But that was so cool. My neck is so sore right now, my shoulders, from that karting experience. But that wasn't your question. Will it go to Fontana? I don't know. But I think it will probably come back to Irwindale, maybe. And taking the top spot from Marcus will be hard. There's going to be a lot of people in GRC next year. Caswell wants me to say... Did you get that? That's from Timothy Anderson. Jalopnik. He wants me to say Jalopnik. Man, Timothy, you're a sellout. I'm the one with the Rockstar t-shirt on, though, so it's okay. No, Jalopnik's pretty awesome. Is one of the first, like one of those websites that I started checking out. Another good one that a friend of mine runs is My Life at Speed, which is a similar format, but way more into... It's less joking and it's more about athletes and racers and how you get into it. So it's a very cool site. Stefan, you want to drive in Formula D? That is awesome. Yes, I do have some advice for you. It's a lot harder to get in now than it was before, but just get some tire help. Get some tire help and just start going to the feeder events. Also, I think Drift Day might still be going on. There's all kinds of places to get practice. Drift Buffet, Just Drift. There's I don't know how many of those are still in business, but Drift Day used to be just a couple $100 to go out there and drive even their cars and get some great practice. Favorite sport outside of racing? To do, I think skiing. For me, growing up, it was always skiing and skiing and driving, my two things. I miss living in the mountains and being able to walk to the mountain and get some skiing in. But hopefully this winter I'll get a lot of skiing in. Megan, again, when done there crazy. Is there anything that I've seen on the BBC version that we'd like to do on Top Gear US? Yeah, just about all of it, pretty much. They have tons of fun. We want to do different things, but those guys are so good at coming up with ideas and man, they've been doing the show for so long, like 15 seasons. So it's an incredible amount of ideas they've had to come up with. And they're very talented at doing those, and they are the best guys in the world. Even if the idea is not so good, they're the best guys in the world at making the show entertaining, which is a skill I respect. Daniel Peterson, welcome. Milwaukee. Would you drive my Subaru? Yeah, sure, I'll drive your Subaru. No problem, Daniel. Bring it out. We used to go to the Milwaukee Mile and do these events. That track is freaking scary because it's a mile oval, but as you may know, it doesn't have a bank to it. And I used to run a series out there called Rotary Rockets. We had 10 little Formula Mazdas, and it was an arrive and drive series, and I was like a judge and part of the organization, and we ran a track called Blackhawk Farms, which is way out somewhere out there. And it was really a go-kart track, but it was cool. It was like a track that went out around a tree and then had this crazy straightaway, and you went through the forest. It's nothing like the tracks out here in California, which are mostly in the desert. I don't know about the WRC final. You know, I lived through WRC, unfortunately, through Velocity in the U.S. here, where I don't get too much information. Although sometimes I hear from Ken Block on what has happened, and I haven't heard from that yet. So maybe put up here, tell me what happened in the final. I mean, after Spain, it looked like it was going to be close drivers' championship. I think I would have gotten a bunch of texts from a bunch of Ford guys if Mikko Hirvonen passed him in the championship. So I can only guess what happened. And Bill Caswell writing again. Sure you didn't put him up to it. That's okay. No, I believe you, Bill. I'm just kidding. Hi, Travis. How you doing? Yes, James. It was Irwindale. That's right. Daniel. Colt had a blast. CNN just vetted the video. Okay, well, I'll check that out. Awesome. Still looking here. Kevin. What car stunt do you want to attempt next? Oh my gosh, Hot Wheels has some crazy ideas. Can't talk about it. Sorry. It's ugh. You know, even the jump, to be honest with you, I thought was a ridiculous idea. I've said this before, but I saw in when I saw the diagrams, the jump, it was this jump like this, and then the landing over here, and then there was like this little speck in the middle, and that was drawn to scale, and that was the truck. And I couldn't believe that they really wanted to build this thing and then have a truck just fly through the air like that. But it worked out, so I don't want to get too much false trust and things, but I think I would do. I think I would do some other crazy stuff with them. I'd love to drift a car, Joy. You should. It'd be. I would love to teach you. It's drifting's one of those things. It's not like a lot of car related things where you sometimes either get it or you don't, and eventually everybody I think can get it, but some people get it a little sooner than others. I think the best way to learn actually is in the most slippery scenario that you can get, whether it's snow, ice, preferably not gravel, but ice or wet pavement are ideal. Even snow, if it's too thick, then you get a false kind of idea of what's going on, and it doesn't apply to pavement so much. That is my buddy Samuel Lubinet sending me a picture of his haircut, and it is blue. Interesting. It's going to be, maybe it's he's sponsored by Mopar. Maybe that's what it is. That's kind of weird. Lori, thank you very much. We only have a couple minutes. Sorry, I'll go through the last ones here pretty quick. Do I ever do anything local for local fans? Yeah, I go to Cars and Coffee, James. Pretty often. I'll probably go, not this weekend, but next weekend to Cars and Coffee. Whenever I'm in town on a Saturday, I go. I also do a lot of Race the Pro type track events at K1, the go-kart track. And I try to do as many local things as I can. Usually they're tied in with local sponsors or local businesses, but I have a blast doing the karting events. We used to do this, excuse me, we used to do this Drummo 1 thing. Drummo 1's gone now, but we used to do this 12-hour race where you just team up with like 4 or 5 people. And it was a charity event. Most of these events are charity events. And it rained, and so they closed off the outside part of the track, and so it was all indoors with gas carts for 12 hours. Everybody's lips were blue, and we were all like speaking tongues by the end of the night, but it was an absolute blast. Daniel, yes, I got that. Thank you. Yes, let me know when you're near Milwaukee. It's awesome. Thanks, bud. Nikolai, I like the fact you're in the invented car culture. I heard you taught Ken Block. I don't know if I taught Ken Block how to drift. We definitely gave it a shot in my car. But he's done some. We did some TV shows with him on the ice track, and he went out with JR, and I think he did some drifting stuff. I took Travis Pastrana out also. Is there anything in the works for us duking it out on the Top Gear track? Ken and I on the Top Gear track. Interesting. Yeah, we both drive identical cars. We did do his Gymkhana event against each other back at Irwindale. But no, it's a good idea. It'd be fun. I think the latest thing is to go into boxing match like Deegan and Mira did, and maybe this would be, Ken and I's version of that, since Mira and Deegan will probably kick our asses. That was a great round of boxing, by the way. That was those two are two of the Brian Deegan and Dave Mira are two of the most dedicated athletes at a given task that I've ever met. Like, if they get something to do, they train so hard for it, and it's really impressive. And they came out and they had a boxing round, and I think they started something in action sports because it was actually a really good match. Have I gone snowmobiling before? Hell yes, I have. Are you kidding me, Joy? I love snowmobiling. I went up with my buddy David Leach up in Vail, and the last time I went snowmobiling was raw powder, and it was like jet skiing, like leaning through, and you'd like spray a wake of this super dry snow, you almost submarine. But snowmobiles are very good at digging themselves into holes in that kind of snow, and so you really spend the whole day digging out the sled. But still, lots of fun. Why, Joy? So are you live someplace where it's cold? Um, it's my pleasure, Kim, to talk with you in the busy schedule. It's no problem. Backup car, things like Leonard Machine. Do we have a backup car for shows? No. I've got 2 Fiestas, one in Europe doing the European Rallycross Championship, which is like erc24.com, and one in the States to do global Rallycross stuff and X Games. So we actually, for Letterman, took the one from California. We had 5 days to get it there, do the show, and get back, which is right at the limit. It was a pretty big risk, but we knew that Dave was like a super car fan and that it would be really good for Rockstar and Etnies and Ford and all the sponsors. And I was really excited about doing a stunt on the street. So that was a great opportunity. So I'm glad we did it. It was a little desperate though, right before the race. One last question. Have you gone? Yes. Yeah, that was the same question as before. I got that one. Okay, well, thank you guys very much. I've got to jump out, but sorry for the short one. Tomorrow morning we'll get the results from the FIA, and then and there's a lot of stuff coming around the corner with Global Rallycross. Hopefully, getting their schedule together. European Rallycross videos that we'll be releasing on Facebook, and we're going to do a lot of giveaways with Etnies and Rockstar. Victoria, who is not here, will be taking care of a lot of that stuff on Facebook. So love to get you guys into some cool gear. But thank you very much. We'll see you next time.